Hi. Okay, so for the past 3 months now, I have been studying in Tokyo, in Japan, which has been unbelievably cool. I go to this American school that travels to different countries, and right now, because I'm so far away from the US where my professors are based, it means that my classes will end up being at like midnight. My earliest class is at 8 p.m., and then I have another one at 10, and then one at midnight. And that means that when I go to bed, it usually ends up being around 3 or 4 in the morning, which is ridiculous. And I really miss sleeping. Um, I think it used to be cool to sleep super late, but now I just miss the sun. So this basically means that by the time that it gets for me to journal, which is like right before I go to sleep, it's way too late and I end up so tired that I don't even want to do it. Or if I'm writing, it just kind of looks like a scribble that's sort of falling off the page. Um, so that actually helped me realize how much journaling is doing for me. And I didn't realize how much of an impact that it had on me because I've been doing it for about 5 years straight now, or about 6 years because I started during the pandemic. And then I have this, which I call my Bible. I'm not Christian. It's just super thick and it looks like one. Um, and I've been writing in it every single day. So I'm now halfway through this. It has 720 pages. And then my first version of this is the exact same one. Like I have another one that is exactly the same. And that one is like fully completed. So that's 720 pages. And then this one I'm now halfway through. So I realized that I've hit the 1,000 page of journal. Like I've journaled 1,000 times now. And I felt like that was a cause for celebration. And I should talk about why I think it's so important and also how I managed to actually make the habit stick. Because I feel like I watch a lot of videos about how to like form your habit on this, and then they just end up being very generic and vague and just not that useful. So hopefully I can give some more tips that are like very specific and you can do it like right now. So to give some context, I started journaling in 2020. And it was like just as COVID hit, or maybe like 6 months before COVID hit, I caught COVID-19 and then I was really, really ill. Like I caught COVID with my family and then my health just kind of went like downhill from there. And then I ended up being in isolation, like in a wheelchair for 2 years. Or maybe not 2 years. Maybe it was like 1.5 years. But I was in a wheelchair for a really long time. And during that time, I obviously needed a lot of time to think because it was my GCSE years, which are like very important high school years in the UK. Um, so I started journaling, and it was like the first time that I actually made it a habit because I had tried it before then and it didn't really work because I just wasn't really sure what I was doing. I didn't really know what I wanted to write about. But this time, because I was like, damn, I have nothing else to do. I have to do this. I started doing the journaling thingy and it stuck and it was really helpful. And I found that it was a really helpful way for me to basically process my emotions. So even though every day was just kind of boring and the same, I obviously had a lot of subconscious thoughts going on about how upset I was that I was missing school and I was missing out on my life during like very important years because I was like 15 or 16, I think. So journaling was a really helpful way for me to work through that. And then I've always liked like reading and writing. So it kind of made sense for me to use journaling as like an outlet for my emotions and just a way for me to turn like the mess inside of my head. Sorry, I'm like moving my hands like this, but you can't see it. Um, it's like a way for me to turn all of the mess inside of my head into something more concrete where I can like actually put it onto paper and read it as something real and external. And then something that I started doing recently as well is that you can actually like go back through the journal and then that helps you like identify patterns of things that are either staying the same or changing throughout your life. So one thing that I noticed was that when I move cities, I tend to have this like period of time where I get really excited and I spend tons of time outside exploring and talking to different people. And then I end up getting super burnt out and it messes up my routine. So I would not have understood that if I hadn't been journaling. I think it would have just been like a cyclical thing that I would have felt like was out of my control. But because I can see myself writing about it every single time I move cities, I'm like, wait, I can actually change this habit. And then alternatively, like on the flip side, I can actually pick out things that are really good for me that I haven't noticed before, and then I can actually like expand on those. So that was actually what influenced when I filmed the video about micro joys, because I was so happy after listening to that podcast that I was like, wait, I want to write about this. And then that helped me like actually turn it into like a YouTube thing where I could actually share it with people and not just have it be like, oh, I listened to a podcast. So that's kind of the gist of it. So I want to give some tips that you can hopefully apply and start journaling immediately. Because what is more useful than having reflection on your past thoughts? I feel like it's such a good way to get to know yourself as well. Like I was thinking this the other day actually, and I was wondering like if you just never had a chance to kind of reflect on things that have happened to you, then can you ever really process them? Like I don't know if you can actually come up with an answer to this. I will be impressed if you can. Um but I was thinking like there are many ways to have an outlet for your thoughts. So obviously I'm suggesting journaling, but you can also just like talk to your friends. That would be an outlet as well. Or maybe people do different kinds of creative things like singing or painting or dancing. Like there are just countless ways. And I guess I'm recommending all of them. But for me, this is what worked. So yeah, anyways, my first tip is that you should buy a journal that is specifically for journaling only. So for me, I have this one, and I bought like the exact same one last time as well. And I feel like it helps because if I just show you like an empty page, it has like the date and like the memo number and the weather and the day of the week. I don't know. I kind of ignore those. But the date and the memo number I think are really helpful. Just having one that is specifically dedicated to journaling. So I also have like this one, which is my scrapbook. And then I'll use it for stuff like, let me show you something cool. So I will like turn things from my travels into these scrapbooks. So this is like one page, for example. I took some stuff from I took some stuff from Buenos Aires and I think from Japan, and then this receipt is from Korea. So it's very fun. But in the past, I actually used to use the same notebook for everything. So I would be journaling on the first page, and then the second page would be like all of the fun things I did in Taipei. And then I would like draw I don't even know. Like I even have a page that is like, what is this? It's like my economics notes for my class. And then I would have like a drawing, and then I would do something else, and it was just kind of a mess. So it was a lot more helpful for me to kind of switch it. I mean, I switched it midway, like probably about a third of the way through. I was like, hold on, this is getting messy. I need one for a journal and one for a scrapbook and one for like messy note taking. And I feel like that helps you kind of associate the same, like you want to essentially hack your brain and make it as easy as possible for you to pick up the same book every day. If you see the same book every day and then you associate it with the same thing, then I think that makes it a lot easier for you to work on it. Secondly, habit stacking is another thing that is more related to like the psychology of habits, where you should try and like stick the new habit onto something that you already do. So for me, when I journal, it's like right before bed. So I know there's going to be a routine of like I'm going to wash my face and brush my teeth, have a shower, and then go to bed, and then I'll journal. So I think like the trigger would be something like putting my journal next to my toothbrush, and then I'm reminded right before I start the little sequence of habits that I am about to journal. So I think it's a component of three things where it's like you have the trigger, which is in my case like my toothbrush and my toothpaste, and then having it at the same time, which is right before I sleep, and then having it in the same place. So always journaling like from my room rather than like from a friend's room or like from a cafe or something. Tip number 3 is super quick. Just set reminders throughout your day. You can put them on like an app, or you can put them as like sticky notes, and just remember like not to beat yourself up if you end up missing it. You should try and be really flexible, because like the main goal is that you just want to journal. So like when I first started, I remember I used to get really mad when I would not journal every single day. But then I realized like I don't need to journal every single day. If I didn't do anything all day, then I don't really have anything to write about, and that's fine. And then other days I might journal like 5 pages, and then I might not touch it for a week, and that's fine. I just think in the beginning stages of building the habit, it's helpful to have it like happen at the same time or the same interval so that you can like build it in your brain. Tip number 4 is that you need to identify your long-term goal of journaling. So for me, I really want it to make me happier, basically. So every time I journal, I will try and begin with things that I'm grateful for and what I'm happy about that happened in my day. And then I think that by like noting down all of the little things that made me happy, it makes me happier over time. And then also I can list down things that didn't make me happy and what sucked about the day. And then I can also see over time what is upsetting me consistently or what is making me happy consistently. And then I can look at how can I adjust my routine to remove the things or reduce the amount of things that are making me unhappy, and then increase the things that do make me happy. For example, right now I'm so happy that it is cherry blossom season in Japan. And so a lot of the time in my journal, I would write down, oh, I was so happy that I saw the cherry blossoms. So today I went on a walk that was literally like 5 minutes. Like I just went outside of the residence hall, and then I stood in the park where there was like 3 trees with flowers. And then I just came back up again. And that was it. But now I feel like I feel better. Like I feel a lot happier after doing that. So instead of just like waiting for like a full day out, it's just like turning it into something more intentional and then being like, oh, that's something I can do really quickly right now. So why don't I go do it? So that's my goal for journaling. But I think that everyone can have different ones. So for some people, they might just want a log of like what they did in a day. Other people might want to track like one specific habit, like how many times did I think about this, or how many times, like how long did I spend swimming, and I don't know. You can use it to like track other habits while like building the habit of journaling. But I think if you don't have a long-term goal, that makes it very hard for you to concentrate on what you actually want to get out of journaling, and it makes it hard for you to sit down in front of like the blank piece of paper and think about what do I want to write, because you don't have that kind of like overarching question that gives you structure. So instead of being like, oh, I need to journal today, it's more like, what are like 3 things I can list today that made me happy? Like that's my main question. So even when I have nothing to write about, I know I can like kind of get something going. And usually once I start, it's very hard to stop. Like I just end up keep writing and writing and writing, and then that's so much more fun. And it also makes it a lot easier for me to sleep as well, because I feel like I kind of like tidied my brain up a little bit, and then I'm not overthinking when I'm like trying to slow down for the day. So it's like a buffer between my stupid class time and going to sleep. Okay, this is like tip 4.5, just a quick one, is that you should go back through the journal. If you don't reflect on what you're writing, is there that much point in journaling? Like I feel like I definitely don't go through it often. One of my friends is like very, very good at doing that, where she will like literally check on it every single week and go back through her journal to look at like what she was thinking about throughout the week. I don't do it that often. Maybe I go through it like once a month. But I think it's so helpful. Like the whole idea is that you're turning your thoughts into something physical. And so you have that advantage of having like a snapshot of what your brain looked like at different points of time. And so just going back through it lets you compare what your current mindset is like compared to the past. And then that makes it easier to see like how you've changed over time. I feel like that is one of the most important benefits that you can get out of journaling, and something that not enough people take advantage of, including me. I should probably try to look back through it more often. So often when I go back through my journal and I look at the things that have changed about myself, I will use this website called like future me dot something. And then basically I can write myself an email for myself like 1 year or 5 years in the future. So I just find like it's so fun when I do this. I love getting them. I usually send them around my birthday week, so then I get to see like happy birthday message from like myself last year, and then I just tell myself a bunch of different things about myself, and then I don't know, that sounds kind of self-absorbed now that I think about it. But it's a really fun activity and it literally takes like 10 minutes. So I would recommend that, but it's not related to journaling. My last tip, number 5, something that I already mentioned, but you should be flexible and kind to yourself while you're trying to form a habit. Try and do everything you can to make it as easy as possible to do it. It's okay if you miss a day or you miss a week or you miss a month, or maybe you accidentally journal in the wrong notebook, or I don't know, you should be open to experimenting as well. Maybe if writing doesn't work and you've been trying it for weeks and it's not working, then you should try switching to like using an online journal. I know people who use Notion as their online journal kind of thing. I was looking into like using Notion as a personal knowledge management system. I don't know if you guys have heard of those. I don't know a lot about it, but they look pretty cool. So I started doing that. Um, I think it's just a good idea to like try out different tactics. You can try only journaling when you go to a cafe and you can turn it into like a solo date kind of thing. Like you can journal once a week or you can journal 3 times in a day. Like the main goal is just to do it more. It doesn't really matter how you accomplish that. I'm suggesting tips that make it easier to do in the long term because this is a habit that I really wanted to build into my life, and I have been able to do it now for the past 5 or 6 years, which is really cool. Um, so I'm giving tips on how I've lost the habit many times and then rebuilt it. And I think that every attempt that you make to try and build the habit, it gets easier next time to make it stick. So it's totally fine if you try it once and then you end up having something come up and then you can't do it. But yeah, just try and make it a part of your life. I think it's great. I think I am very happy. I don't know if that counts as like a good testimony. I feel like it's been great for me and I feel so excited to finish it. Like I'm up to like nearly halfway. And I only started this like wait. I started this on September 1st because it was like my first day in Buenos Aires. And I'm already halfway through it, which actually means that over time, I'm journaling more and more consistently, which is so cool. But also, that means that like maybe I will literally be writing like a book every few months, which is very cool to think about. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to hear about your own journaling tips and how you managed to make the habit stick or how you're trying to make the habit stick. Yeah, if you have any way to like make it more interesting or more fun, then I want to know and I will definitely try them out too. I hope you enjoyed this and I'll see you soon. Bye. Who's texting me? Sorry, people keep texting me. I'm just too popular. What? Oh, I can't. It's okay. I'm gonna check it in a minute. I need to make a video that is like how to break my phone addiction because I can't do that. What was I gonna say?